Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Alexa, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the 10 books that I read in the month of December. There's nothing that I love more than a fresh reading year, and I have a feeling that 2025 is going to be a good one. So let's go ahead and jump into the first book that I read in the month of December, and it was Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. So I said this earlier in the month, but I don't really like holiday books that much, and so I wasn't sure if I was really gonna like this one or not, but I figured since it was only around 60 pages, I had pretty much nothing to lose. So it is basically a brother's best friend romance novella, and it takes place in the winter. So it has all of the cute and cozy vibes that you're probably looking for in a holiday read, but it is a little bit cringe. But that is to be expected with Ali Hazelwood and with holiday novellas in general. So this was cute enough, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. The next book that I read is another novella. It's called The Answer Is No by Fredrik Backman. Now, this one perplexed me a little bit. I think it's supposed to be a little comedic. And if you guys watched my worst books of 2024 video, you would know that my lowest rated book of the year was a satirical comedic novella by Freida McFadden. And so the whole like satirical comedic novella type of thing doesn't really work for me personally, but I do like Fredrik Backman's writing a lot more than Freida McFadden's writing. So in some ways this book did work for me, and in some ways this book didn't work for me, and that's totally okay. It's pretty much just a short story about a guy who cuts everybody out of his life and basically has this like perfect life because nobody is in his life to cause problems. He does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and nobody bothers him until one day there's an inciting incident, and then his life takes a little bit of a turn. Like I said, I think it was a little bit hard for me to find this book humorous, but I think it still accomplished its intended purpose, so I gave it 3 stars. The next book is unfortunately in my worst books of 2024 video, and it is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I feel like I've already done a lot of rambling about how much I didn't like this book, so if you want to check out my worst books of 2024 video, I will link it in the description for you. I think it's the first book that I mentioned in that video as well. So yeah, I ended up rating this book 2.5 stars, and I don't really know why I did, because I think I should have rated it a lot lower for how much I did not like it. The next book that I read in December is The Changing Man by Tomi Oyemakinde. The publisher actually sent me this book a while back, and for whatever reason I just never got around to reading it. It's definitely more of like a fall autumn read in my eyes, but for whatever reason I was just in the mood to pick it up, so I did, and it did not disappoint. This is pretty much following a couple of students at a school. I think it's kind of like a school for gifted students, or at least it's like prestigious in some type of way. And this group of students tries to uncover the truth behind the legend of the Changing Man, who is this like mysterious entity that has been haunting the school for whatever amount of time. I feel like this was a super fun and original YA dark academia mystery. I gave this book 4 stars. The next book, Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I literally had to restart this book like 3 times because it was so hard for me to get into. But once I finally did, it was so worthwhile in my opinion. You pretty much have to like literary fiction in order to like this book. So if you don't like literary fiction, I wouldn't bother. But if you do, definitely pick up this book. It's so good. And if you don't like it in the beginning, don't be intimidated, because like I said, I had to restart it 3 times before I finally got into it. But for a book that everybody says is about chess, I feel like there wasn't really that much chess in it, so I kind of wish there was more. We're pretty much just following these 2 brothers, Peter and Ivan, as they cope with the loss of their dad, and they both go about that in very different ways. We're exploring and examining their relationship with each other, with their friendships, with their romantic relationships. It's very complex and gut-wrenching and entertaining. I rated it 4 stars. The next book I read is All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this is the 3rd book in the Natural series. It's basically YA Criminal Minds. It's about a group of kids who help solve cold cases, and they all have all these natural abilities that help them solve those cold cases. And this book is just continuing the series from the 1st and 2nd book, and in this book they go to Las Vegas. This is definitely my favorite book in the series so far, but we'll have to see what I think about the fourth book. But I gave this one 4 stars. I think I've given all of them 4 stars so far, but it is a really good series. I feel like even if you don't like YA books that much, this one is definitely more palatable than a lot of other YA books out there. It's not too like cringe and juvenile for people who like more adult books. So yeah, I would recommend it. The next book I read, I got as an audiobook from Book of the Month, and it is I Might Be in Trouble by Daniel Aleman. First of all, I just want to say that I think this cover is so ugly. I hate this cover. I hate covers that give the vibe that they've been generated by AI, and this one kind of gives me that vibe, so I just had to get that off my chest. As for the book itself, we are following a struggling writer in New York City, and he is going through it. He is going through a breakup. He has a bad relationship with his family. He has no money. His career is in jeopardy, and he also has no friends. He decides to try and start fixing his life by writing another book, and so he tries to have a fun night out and look for stories. And after a fun night out looking for stories, he wakes up and there is a dead guy in his bed. And so the book is basically him trying to figure out how to handle this situation and if he should or should not write a book about this story. When I saw this on Book of the Month, it definitely caught my eye. It sounded very interesting to me, and I feel like the story was interesting. However, I feel like the book Yellowface by R.F. Kuang is a similar story and a lot better execution and writing and just overall storytelling. So I feel like if you think this book sounds interesting, you might be better off just going ahead and reading Yellowface if you haven't already. If you liked Yellowface and want a little bit more of those vibes but can't find it, I would recommend this book. It was entertaining, but I don't think it was like a must read. I gave it 3 stars. The next book I buddy read with my mom, and it is called 25 Days by Per Jacobsen. And this is the most unique concept for a book I have ever heard of. It's a holiday themed book that is 25 chapters, and you read a chapter a day. So it's basically an advent calendar book. And it was especially fun because I was buddy reading it with my mom, and we always read at different paces. So it's kind of hard for us to buddy read things because either she will finish it in a day or I will finish it in a day, and then it's like, what was the point of even buddy reading it? But with this book, you're reading a designated chapter per day, and so we were able to chat about what was going on after each day. Super fun, and if I didn't say already, it's like a thriller mystery about a family, and they go into this like snowy cabin for a little Christmas trip. I don't really want to say much more than that because you guys know I don't like to spoil thriller mysteries. So yeah, this book was fun. I would definitely recommend that you guys check it out next December. The ending itself I wasn't crazy about, so I gave it 3 stars, but like I said, it was so fun. The next book that I read is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, and this is a fantasy book that is set in the Spanish Golden Age. We're pretty much following a scullery maid who has this unknown to her magic that she doesn't exactly know how to control or what exactly it is. And as she learns more about her history, she starts to uncover secrets that involve this magic that she has. I don't want to say too much else about it because I feel like it's more fun going into this book blind. But yeah, I had kind of high hopes for this because Leigh Bardugo is such a hyped up author, but I was just a little bit let down. I know that this isn't one of her more popular books, so maybe I just need to check out some of her other books. But yeah, there's nothing I explicitly didn't like about this book. I just feel like there wasn't really much that I could connect to in the story. The ingredients just weren't quite right for me to be obsessed with this, and I was a little bit disappointed because I kind of thought that it would have the ingredients for me to be obsessed with this. But can we just talk for a second how beautiful this copy is? Anyways, I gave this book 3 stars. Like I said, there wasn't really anything wrong with it. It just wasn't for me. And the final book that I read in the month of December is City of Night Birds by Juhea Kim. This book is pretty much following a girl who who used to be a dancer, and then she stopped dancing due to an injury, but now she's decided to get back into dancing, but she also uses pills and alcohol to numb the pain of her past. There's also a lot of situations in different relationships that she has that were left unresolved that she now has to face. At the time I'm filming this, which is December 30th, I actually haven't quite finished this book yet, and so if I have, by the time I'm editing, I will insert my rating right here. But if I haven't, I always put my reviews on Goodreads, which is always linked in the description, so definitely check out my Goodreads if I didn't put my rating up already. And with that being said, those are all 10 of the books that I read in the month of December. I started my YouTube channel in January of 2024, so it is pretty much 1 year old now, and I now have 2,000 subscribers, which is insane. If you guys have been watching my channel this year, or even just one of my videos, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I have so many fun and exciting videos planned for 2025. Your support has meant everything to me this year, and I am so grateful for everybody that has watched, liked, comment, followed, subscribed, everything. So with that being said, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody has a safe and happy new year. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below letting me know anything you want to let me know. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram and make sure that you are subscribed so that you can see more videos from me in the future. But for now, that is all, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Until one day there's...
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
What? We're pretty much following a scullery maid named, what's her name? I got a Stanley Cup for Christmas! So exciting for me.